Canada is back in a revamped North American free trade deal with the United States and Mexico late yesterday after weeks of bitter, high-pressure negotiations that brushed up against a midnight deadline. In a joint statement, U.S. Trade Representative Robert Lighthizer and Canadian Foreign Affairs Minister Chrystia Freeland said the agreement will strengthen the middle class and create good, well-paying jobs and new opportunities for the nearly 500 million people who call North America home. The new deal, reached just before a midnight deadline imposed by the U.S., will be called the United States-Mexico-Canada Agreement, or USMCA. It replaces the 24-year-old North American Free Trade Agreement, which President Donald Trump had called a job-killing disaster. The agreement gives U.S. farmers greater access to the Canadian dairy market, but it keeps a NAFTA dispute resolution process that the U.S. wanted to jettison and offers Canada protection if Trump goes ahead with plans to impose tariffs on cars, trucks, and auto parts imported into the United States. And just ahead of that USMCA agreement, Quebec Liberal leader Philippe Couillard says he would explore all judicial options to block an agreement that drops protections for dairy farmers.
And I want to say in English, as I said in French, that I've spoken with Mr. Gaudreau, who is, of course, the leader of our agriculture from the farmers' side. I've spoken to him many times. We are together on this, defending our producers. It's important. It's not about the deal. It's not about the system. It's about the type of agriculture we want in Quebec, which is family-based. We don't want this U.S. style of large industrial exploitation, which makes us finally will transform an agriculture in agriculture of locataire. We don't want this. I want the next generations to continue working on the farm of their parents. It's important for the whole of Quebec, including our regions, our vast regions. We need to be there. We need to occupy the territory. And this is through supply management that we can do this in agriculture.
After 1 year as leader of the New Democrats, Jagmeet Singh says things are turning around for the party following a couple of years of slumping fundraising figures.
I knew that it's not always the easiest thing for New Democrats to raise money. We don't have the, there's certain unique elements of being a New Democrat and the type of support we get, grassroots support, smaller amounts. And so I knew all of that. And that was a problem, and that's something that's got to be solved. The reason why I'm not worried about it is because we put in a plan and things are turning around. So since being in, our numbers have gone upwards. So we're trending up, and that's what I've got to do is kind of turn the ship around, and we're trending in a positive. So things are getting better, and more importantly, we're putting out really, I think, meaningful ideas that are connecting with people.
No matter how cold it may have been, there was more than enough spirit to keep the runners and walkers warm during CIBC's Run for the Cure event. The CIBC Run for the Cure is a 5K run and a 1K walk that raises funds for the Canadian Cancer Society. It's the largest single-day volunteer-led event in Canada. This year's Sault Ste Marie walk saw 306 participants raise $50,883. This money will go specifically to breast cancer research, support services, health education, and advocacy programs. On TV's Riley Smith emceed the event, and she spoke to Run Director Cynthia Sabourin.
Now, Cynthia, how many years have you been doing this?
So, as a Run Director, this is my second year. But I've been involved with the Run for many years. I've been a participant, I've been a committee member, but Run Director, it is the second year.
Second year. And how would you describe the turnout and the participation from the community for the event this year?
The turnout has been amazing, even though it's very cold down here, but the rain's held off, so that's been wonderful. But the participation is amazing this year.
And it seems like the cold hasn't really deterred people. People are out here in their layers and they're just ready to run for the cure.
Absolutely.
Now, as someone who's partaken in the event for many years and now as the Run Director, what's your favorite part of the day?
My favorite part of the day definitely is looking out at the crowd and just seeing all the faces. I like the warm-up part because it kind of gets people moving, they're laughing, they're joking around, the smiles. The Survivor Walk certainly touches my heart. Always a couple tears.
The Sioux saw its very first NerdCon take place on Saturday at Vintage Games and Junk. The event hosted 31 vendors coming from Toronto all the way to Thunder Bay. The event was co-organized by Vintage Games and Junk owner Michael Turcotte and his wife Beth Davison. Proudly showing off all things nerdy, NerdCon gave the opportunity for attendees to check out games, toys, vinyl, anime, cosplay, art, handmade wares, and so much more.
So Katie, tell me a little bit about today's event. It's the first Steel City NerdCon.
Yeah, so my parents organized this whole event. Got a lot of vendors from out of town, which is super cool. Bringing a lot of stuff that you wouldn't normally see around town, and a lot of people dressed up, which is really awesome. And yeah.
How long did it take them to plan this event?
I think they did it within 1 to 2 months. They had a little one. They planned in a week, and amazing turnout for just a couple of vendors out in the front there. So.
And what are some of the highlights of the day? Aside from the vendors, there's also some other stuff going on?
Yeah, so we have some contests going on, which is super cool. We have a door contest, $600 in value for paying, $5, $15 to come in. The costumes, again, they're just amazing. Some people dressed up real nice, and I think the best one I seen was the Lady Deadpool. That's pretty awesome.
And is this going to be an annual event, do you think?
Well, my parents said the turnout's around 500 to 1,000 people, that they would definitely do it again. Like, the turnout's been amazing. So many people came out to support it.
So who are you dressed up as today at NerdCon?
Today I'm dressed up as May from Overwatch.
Is that your favorite character?
One of my favorites, although she's really a divisive character. A lot of people either love her or hate her.
And what did it take to put this costume together?
The costume took about 80 hours. It's mostly made out of hot glue, craft foam, a lot of sewing, and hopes and dreams.
It sounds like you put a lot of creativity and work into it. Now, what brings you out to NerdCon today?
A friend of mine told me about it and looked it up. It looked like a lot of fun. There's a lot of really cool vendors, and they said that there's going to be a costume contest, so I was like, I'm there.
And what has been your favorite part so far?
Just running into old friends that I haven't seen for a while, seeing a lot of people come out and support the local vendors and the local kind of nerd industry. It's really awesome.
And this is the first event of its kind in the Sioux. Do you think that you would attend another one?
Absolutely. I think if there's more events of this kind, it can only get better and bigger.